Hello everyone, in this video I'm just going to show you how you can print factorials using a recursive function. Okay, so if you watch my other video where I showed you how you can calculate or basically calculate or print a factorial of a number, then we did it using a loop. In this video I'm going to show you how to do it using recursion. Okay, so void fact. Okay, we're going to have a function called fact. Perfect, right? Now fact is we're going to find the factorial of 5, so I'm going to say fact 5. Perfect. Now if you remember in the previous video, what we did is that we had like a main function that we multiplied and we assigned it every time. So I think like similar to the sum function. Whenever you sum using all the sum every element of an array, you have a sum variable and you add and you assign it at the same time, right? So we're going to do the same thing, but in this case we're going to make that function or that variable global, and we're going to call it prod. Okay, and it's going to be an integer, and we're going to, unlike when we're summing, we make it equal to 0. When we are finding the factorial, we're going to make it equal to 1 because we're going to multiply and equal to 1. So if this had to be a 0, then it's always going to be a 0, because when you multiply by a 0, then it's a 0, if that makes sense. So here we have fact, okay, and here we're going to pass in a parameter, and I'm going to call this n, okay, for number. Now obviously we're going to have our classic if statement to stop the loop. Perfect. Then I'm going to say if n is equal to 0, because we don't want it to equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, we want it to return and stop the recursion, because if it doesn't stop the recursion, it's going to make our entire calculation equal to 0. So I mean, you're multiplying it by 0, so that's what's going to happen. Okay, and the logic for the recursive function would be the following: product multiply equal to n. Okay, and what this is going to do is it's going to basically, you enter 5 inside of there, it's going to make this is going to be false because it's 5. Then it's going to say 5 multiply equal to, actually no, 1 multiply equal to 5, so that's going to be equal to 5, but we want it to recursively call from 1 till 5. Okay, so it's going to firstly multiply by 1, then multiply by 2, then by 3, then by 4, then by 5. So how do we do that? Well, we call the function inside here. Okay, so the sequence matters. You cannot call the function actually you can actually even after this, but I like to call it before. So before we actually write the code for the multiplication. Now simple, I mean, what's the same thing? Every recursive function has something in common. What is common is the if statement and the recursive nature of itself. So fact, and we're going to say 5 multiplied by what? Let me know. Actually no, 5 minus, it's actually n minus 1, sorry. There we go, n minus 1. I can probably hear somebody screaming in the comments. Nevertheless, n minus 1. Now how this is going to work, basically it's done. Let me just run it. Oh, I forgot to see out. Let me see out our product variable. Okay, so let me just do that, and I'm going to run it. So if I do that and if I run it, you can see it's 120. Perfect, we've achieved our result. If I make it 3, it's gonna equal to 6. So let's just go there. 6, done. Factorial done. That's how you do it using recursion. You can cancel the video, but if you want to know how this works, then stay here. The way it works is, look, I put in a 3. So now n is 3. Is 3 equal to 0? Sorry, false. So it's gonna come over here. Now this is gonna be the copy for the 3. Now once we reach line number 8 right over here, then we're gonna put a dash here because it calls itself, it creates another copy, and a dash indicates that we're not done with this copy yet. So it created a new copy while we were not done with the previous one. Now n is equal to 2 because 3 minus 1 is 2. So we pass in now n as 2. Then is 2 is equal to 0? No, it's not. So we're going to return. Actually no, we're not going to return because it's not equal to 0, so the condition is false. Then it's going to come back over here to line number 9, and it's gonna call itself when it's equal to 1, and then 1 is equal to 0. No, it's not, so it's gonna come over here and it's gonna call itself when it's equal to 0, when n is 0. Now this condition would be 2, so it would return. Now we don't put a dash here because the function has ended. Then it's gonna see now when it's gonna come back to the previous copy when n was 1, and it's done now with this line. It's coming over here to this line, and it's gonna see 1x n is what? N is 1, so product is also 1, so 1x1 is 1, so we assign product the same value. Then it's going to break out of this because the function has ended. It's going to come back to the previous one, which is n is equal to 2. That's the copy. Now it's going to see product, okay, 1 multiply equal to n, which is 2, so it's going to see now 1x2, which is 2, and like that it's going to say 1x2, and then it's going to come back to the 3, then it's going to say 1x2 x3, which is equal to 6 essentially. So that's how this just works. Pretty amazing, isn't it?